For the first time in years, I feel light. Like I finally put down a weight I didn't know I was carrying. For most of my adult life, that weight was there. The weight of needing my life to mean something, to prove something, to become something. For the past couple of weeks, something quiet but quite significant has shifted the way I see my life. And if you've ever felt the pressure to become somebody, this might be worth reflecting on. Because for a long time, I carried a lot of internal pressure. Pressure to become successful, pressure to build a big business, pressure to create something significant that would prove my life mattered. At the time, I didn't recognize it as pressure. I called it purpose, I called it drive, I even called it ambition. But looking back now, I can clearly see something underneath all of that. A quiet need to justify my existence, to prove my worth to myself, to others, and maybe even to God. When you start living that way, everything becomes heavy. Work becomes a test, success becomes validation, and failure becomes a threat to your identity. You're no longer just doing things, you're trying to prove that your life counts. Now, very recently, through some serious introspection, a few honest conversations, and a lot of prayer, something has become very clear to me. I may have been taking myself too seriously. Yes, that's right. I may have been taking myself too seriously. Now, this is not in the sense of responsibility, but in the sense that I've believed my life had to become something impressive to matter. And interestingly, that realization didn't come through burnout. It has come through prayer. For some time now, my prayer has been very simple. Instead of asking God to bless the plans I've already made, I've started praying something very different. My prayer has now become, Lord, have your way in my life. And slowly but steadily, that posture has been changing something inside of me. Let me give you a small example. Now, some time ago, I made a project for a client, which was completely unpaid. I didn't take on the project because of money or expectation. I simply did it because it was the right thing to do. And very recently, I watched the video again. But this time, whilst watching, something struck me. You see, that whole exercise that I did in creating that project or making that video, it was effortless, to say the least. Because the creativity flowed, the process felt natural, there was no pressure attached to it. And then I remembered another video I went on to make for that client later on. This time it was a paid project. Now, technically both videos were good. The client liked both the videos, which is why I got that additional work. But internally, my experience was very different. You see, the moment money and expectations entered the picture, something shifted inside of me. Suddenly, I felt the pressure to justify that payment that was being made to me. It was like as if I'm trying to prove I was worth it. And that showed me something about myself. When I'm free from the need to prove something, my creativity flows naturally. But when I try to use my work to validate my worth, everything becomes heavy. Now, that realization has led me to ask a deeper question, which is, what do I actually want? Now, I'm not talking about anything that sounds impressive, not what other people admire, not even what makes life look successful from the outside. But in all honesty, what do I actually want? Now, the answer surprised me with how simple it was. Because all I've ever wanted is a good life, a loving family, and enough provision to live with dignity. That's it. The truth is, I'm already blessed with most of that. My life is good. I have a loving family, and by God's grace, we have what we need. For years, I've believed that my identity had to be built around becoming a certain kind of person, someone who had achieved something meaningful. But I'm beginning to see something different. My life already has meaning, not because of what I accomplish, but because of who I am. And who I am? Well, I am a child of God, a husband, a father. And maybe that is enough. You see, the world around us has created all this pressure to become more, to do more. That doesn't mean I'm abandoning my work or my creative pursuits. There are still a few projects that are very important for me to complete or to make. But these don't come from a place to prove anything. It probably comes simply because those stories were placed on my heart. And I'm also honoring all my commitments to my clients and will continue to do so. I'm not leaving work and joining the seminary in any way. You see, but beyond that, I'm holding the future a little more loosely. My responsibility remains the same, and that is to provide for my family and care for the life God has given me. But where I am now, I don't feel the urgency to map out everything anymore. I'm not making I'm not thinking more about the future. Provision may come and through various means. It may come through my creative work, my business, or through something I even haven't considered yet. Right now, I'm less interested in controlling the outcome. I'm more interested in learning a different rhythm of life. A rhythm where there is space to be present in everyday life, be it at home or at work, and room for creativity when it flows naturally rather than under pressure. For many years, I believed purpose had to look extraordinary, that if my life was going to matter, it had to become something significant in the eyes of the world. But I'm beginning to see something different. An ordinary life, lived faithfully, peacefully, and gratefully, is already deeply meaningful. And strangely enough, that realization has brought me more freedom than any achievement ever did. Jesus once said, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And if I'm being honest here, I'm starting to experience that in a very practical way. The truth is, I don't have to prove myself. The truth is, my worth isn't tied to my work. The truth is, an ordinary life can already be enough. And that truth is setting me free. It's one thing to have that knowledge, it's another to really experience it. So if you're watching this and you feel the same pressure that I've carried for years, the pressure to become somebody, to prove something, to make your life meaningful through achievement, maybe it's worth asking a different question. Not what should my life become, but simply what do I actually want? Then bring that honestly before God. Not asking Him to bless the plans you've already made, but asking Him something much simpler. That is, Lord, have your way in my life. Because that small shift from bless my plans to have your way changes everything. It certainly has for me. If this reflection resonated with you, consider it sharing with someone who might be carrying a similar kind of pressure. You see, often we don't realize how heavy something has become until someone gently names it. And sometimes all it takes is a quiet reminder to realize we don't have to carry that weight alone. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, cheers and God bless.